Chardonnay and Sauvignon Blanc are the number 2 and number 3 most widely planted white wine grapes in the world, behind Irene, which is the number 1 white wine grape. It's from Spain, which is often not labeled varietally because it's blended, made into table wines, blended into sherry-style wines, although I have tasted some decent examples lately. Pinot Grigio and Riesling are very popular white wine grapes as well. These are the 4 major white wine grapes that you'll see on the shelf. So what's the difference between them? Can I even taste the difference? I have 4 different examples here. I'm going to blind taste them, see if I can pick out the differences. All of these are pretty high quality wines, ranging from the high teens up to the low $30 range in terms of on the shelf prices. The Riesling was a little bit more affordable because I think when you get nicer Riesling, they're so explosive that's pretty easy to pick out. I did not put a New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc in here either because those are so explosive. Those are usually very distinctive. I wanted to see if I could really trick myself. So I'm going to blind taste them and see if I can describe the differences in my rationale. Maybe I'll mess up big time, but it's all good. We know that blind tasting is tough. Let's get going. Tasting out of my Gabriel glass standard edition. Love this glass. Let's start out with wine number 1 here. Wine 1 is super flinty. It's got like this melon component. It's got a touch of wood. Kind of reminds me of Chardonnay right off the bat, although I have to say Pinot Grigio, also known as Pinot Gris in France, which is originally called, can have similar flavors. It's really flinty. Got a slight vanilla note, melon, peachy type flavors. I have to say it's a pretty good Chardonnay. I haven't tasted this Chardonnay before. As always, I knew what these wines were beforehand. I just Corvin them, had somebody mix them up for me. But man, I have to say that this smells pretty good. Traditionally, Chardonnays that most of you are familiar with have a little bit more body because oftentimes they're barrel fermented, which I think this one is. Although in recent years, there's been a movement to move away from buttery big Chardonnay and move into a more leaner style. Again, though, this is where you could trick yourself in blind tasting because sometimes something pops into your head and you think, wow, this is immediately it. And that you could be wrong. When you blind taste, you really have to have deductive logic, deductive reasoning. But I would say that this is Chardonnay, I think. And a nice one at that. Let's move on to number 2 here. 2 is a little bit muted. It's not super explosive. This is really hard. I want to say it's got kind of like a slaty and apple blossom type flavor. So first I want to say it's a Riesling that's not very explosive. The Riesling I put in, I have not tasted before either, which is nice. Actually, I think, yeah, all 4 of these wines I've never tasted before, so that's good. Again, though, could it be Pinot Grigio? Because I get a slight orange tangerine peel flavor. That's what I associate with Pinot Grigio. Again, this is how you can trick yourself. You think sometimes you can convince yourself that you're searching for something. Kind of like if you like a girl, or if you're a girl, if you like a guy, you kind of justify the reasons why you like them. Let's give this a taste. I think this is Riesling. It's got piercing acidity. I mean, there's real tension on the back end. Riesling's one of the few grapes for me that has tension. This is not an explosive Riesling. This is an easygoing Riesling. This is a dry, kind of moving to an off-dry wine, has a little bit of residual sugar. A lot of people associate Riesling with being sweet, but most of the Riesling around the world made is actually dry. However, people that buy more simple wines, buy Riesling on the shelf, tend to buy sweeter ones. I think this has nice balance, and I think this is the Riesling. Again, it's the mouthfeel. That's what's got me. Let's move on to wine number 3 here. Wine number 3. Is this the Pinot Grigio? For, Pinot Grigio, Pinot Gris is actually a pink-skinned or even a red-skinned grape variety. Usually, color from wine comes from the skins. A lot of red wine grapes, not all, but a lot of red wine grapes have clear skin. You get the color from soaking the skins with the juice before and after fermentation. That's what happens with Pinot Grigio. They take the skins off, and then it's got white flesh. Unless you're making a macerated style or in Friuli, a traditional style, which they call Ramato. Yeah, it's got like this, it's pretty explosive. This is a high quality. I think number 1 and number 3 were the highest quality wines so far. Got like an orange peel type flavor, orange tangerine, some peaches, very minerally. Really nice wine. Has significant body, got like the citrus tanginess that I get with these types of Pinot Grigios. Pinot Grigio actually, when it's not made into like a simple style, is a grape that gets a lot of alcohol. The acidity can be quite low. When you have fresh Pinot Grigios, the cheap ones that maybe you're used to drinking, the ones that I were introduced to, they're picked earlier. They can be acidified. They can be a little bit tangier. But real traditional high-quality Pinot Grigios are usually a little bit broader, a little bit bigger, which the Pinot Grigio I picked in this lineup, I think, is the most expensive wine in the bunch. Had tangerine peel in this. This is probably the friendliest wine out of all of them. Has complexity, but has that roundness. Sometimes the sourness, the acidity of Riesling, or even Chardonnay sometimes, which is a pretty high acid grape, can get to people. That's nice. Let's move on. Wine 4 has more color. It's got a lot more color that tips me off. If you look here, this might be the Pinot Grigio. Again, I don't really love to use color all the time, but in this case, so that would mean maybe 3 is the Sauvignon Blanc, and maybe this is the Pinot Grigio. This definitely has a lot more orange peel type flavors. Or again, maybe is my mind tricking me? Orange peel, tangerine. Just smells really good. Tangerine got some mineralness. It's even a little bit meaty, so to speak. This is the softest wine out of the bunch. What I mean by that, doesn't have the sharp acidity. Let me, like I described earlier, let me compare. I would be shocked if number 3 here is the Sauvignon Blanc, or maybe I confused. Maybe number 1 is. My goodness. Because Sauvignon Blanc usually tends to have high acidity. Again here, I don't know if I confuse. The cut grass flavor starts to come out in 3 a little bit more. Just slightly. But again, I picked a California Sauvignon Blanc because I wanted to trick myself. Those wines tend to be a little fatter, not as aromatic as, say, a New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc, not as distinctive as one from the Loire like Sancerre or Pouilly-Fumé. Now with some acidity comes out, that's another lesson. 2 lessons here. You got to give wines time in the glass to expand, evolve, express themselves, just like people. You got to give people a chance. And also, this is what's powerful when you taste a bunch of wines together. You have deductive reasoning. You can isolate certain variables, or you can trick yourself into being wrong. You ready for the reveal? If you like this content, I would like you to consider becoming a channel member. I have several tiers, but in the Grand Reserve tier, I have a monthly live hangout tasting where we talk shop, share wines. It's really difficult to find family and friends that are into wine like you and I are, and that's what this community is. There are perks for other members too, and it supports the work I do here, so thank you. I wasn't thinking of scores here. I was just trying to identify. I think wine 1 and 3 were my favorite and 2 distinctively different styles. So let's just unbag one by one and see if I'm right, if I really am a wine pro, or if you can make fun of me in the comments. Wine number 1 I thought was Chardonnay, and I thought it was pretty darn exceptional quality at that. All right. Please, let me be right. Let me be right here. Yes! This is the Clos Jordanne Claystone Terrace single vineyard Chardonnay from Canada. Yes, Niagara and Canada. This is available in the U.S. This comes in at $30. This is a premium producer. This is barrel fermented, made by Thomas Batchelder, which is, for me, who I've met in Niagara, the best winemaker. He makes his own brand as well, makes 30 different single vineyard wines, Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, and Gamay. I was not that impressed with the Clos Jordanne Pinot Noir. Oh, not that impressed. I wanted more. This was very good. I mean, to me, I wasn't thinking of scoring-wise, but this is well over, think back, and probably well over 91 plus type of points. I thought that was really outstanding. Very nice. Again, with bigger Chardonnays, you can pair them even with pork neck, grilled pork, even meats. They're quite versatile wines, or they can drink them on their own. Let me move this out of the way here so you can see the labels a little bit better. Okay, 2 was Riesling, I thought. Riesling, a very misunderstood grape. This one was just had a touch of sweetness. So, and the tension, that acidity, just almost, if you don't have a lot of experience with Riesling, think about if you've ever sucked on a lemon before, how sharp that is. I think this is Riesling. It is. This is the Clean Slate 2023 Riesling from the Mosel in Germany. This is 16 bucks. This is not overly explosive. Like a lot of Rieslings can be really explosive. Think New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc explosive, although the flavors are a little bit different. I think this is a fun, easygoing, delicious Riesling, kind of like adult lemonade, in between a dry and a cabernet style, although not as explosive. I think I've seen it at Total Wine for as low as 10 bucks. So if you're looking for a simple summer sipper, I think that's really good. It's just nice value at that price point. 3 and 4 is where I got confused until I went back and forth, and that's a power blind tasting. I did think that 3 was Sauvignon Blanc. I thought that this was the best wine I tasted out of everything. If I had the Clos Jordanne in the 91 plus type range, I'd have this in the 92-ish range. I thought this was outstanding wine. Really, really good. Sauvignon Blanc. I hope I picked it out. Did I get it? Did I get it? I got this right. This is the Mazakan Sauvignon Blanc 2024. This comes in at 25 bucks, made by Dan Prochaski. Really talented winemaker in Napa. Wanted to start his own brand, but realized, you know what? To make money, it's probably better to make fresh white wines, because you buy the grapes, you make the wine, you sell them off in the next spring. There is cash flow. If you want to start a brand and make red wine, you have to sit red wine in the cellar for some time. You're not making money. And of course, it's a competitive market. He was so successful with this brand. I think he sold to Constellation or one of the big companies, and cashed out for himself. So good job by him. This is outstanding. I know I sell this at my shop, and people love it. And it's hard. We usually sell out really quick. I thought that was super good. The best wine for me out of the flight. This last one was, I guess I was right, was true Pinot Grigio. Not the kind of Pinot Grigio that a lot of you in the the 15, the 12, the $11 range want to get. This is more the true. It's a little bit bigger, a little bit richer style. I think the color gave it away. Pinot Grigio it is, and this is it's a single vineyard. This is the Alois Lager Porter Pinot Grigio 2022 from Mitterberg. That's in Alto Adige, northern part of Italy that used to belong to Austria. Beautiful region, mountainous. This comes in at 32 bucks. The color might not have come from Pinot Grigio itself. Maybe it came from bottle age. This is a 2022. Maybe I should have put a fresh style Pinot Grigio in to trick myself a little bit more. So tell me, what do you like more? Sauvignon Blanc, Riesling, Chardonnay, Pinot Grigio. Have you tasted any of these wines? I'd love to hear. Drop it in the comments below.